And then there's this NBC poll that people are a little bit upset about because it has Clinton up by 14 points. People are saying that's crazy. There's no way. Well, let's read the poll together. And let's try to understand what it actually says. First of all, it doesn't have her up by 14. It has her up by 11. Because there are not 2 candidates running, there are 3 candidates running. I have to say that I don't even know why they bother with the head-to-head question because it's not predictive. You're asking a question in a reality that doesn't exist. There's not 2 people running, there's 3 people running. In fact, there's more than 3 people running. But unfortunately, it seems like we don't want to. I would like to say that Stein is doing better than she is, but she's not. There's 3 people running, okay? So there's no reason to guffaw at a 14-point lead because there's not a 14-point lead. It's an 11-point lead, okay? Now, this is also a small sample size with a 5% margin of error. It's a little bit less. I rounded it up a bit. It was like 4.6 or something. So the poll doesn't say she's winning by 11 points. It says that there's a 95% chance. I'm presuming a confidence interval. They might have done it at 90. They might have done it at 99. I think that they probably either did it at 90 or 95 with a sample size that small. It might only be 90%, guys, but probably 95% chance that she's winning by somewhere between 6 and 16 points. And gee, that's not a very strong statement, really, is it? If you actually understand what the poll says. I know people want to look at the poll and they say, the poll said there's a 100% chance that she's winning by 14 points. That's not what the poll said. What the poll said is that there's a 90-some% chance that she's somewhere between 6 and 16 points ahead. And that's not a controversial statement. I'd bet the house on that. It's important that media personalities know how to read the polls if they're going to be commenting on them. Alright? You want to be a media person and not talk about politics, then I don't care if you know numbers or not. But this is a part of your job. I've done this before. I'm going to call on the major media networks to please put their personalities through basic numeracy courses. I know that their job is not to be a statistician. Their job is to be a personality. Nobody tunes in to watch the statistician in the morning. They tune in to watch the personality in the morning. That's fine. But they gotta have some idea. This isn't really complicated. You can get this idea across in a couple of hours. Send them on a crash course. No, do it, seriously, please. All of them. I'm not trying to pick anyone out because this could be anyone could be this, right? I've seen it from a lot of people. They're journalists or other, marketing people or whatever, right? Or even just celebrities. They didn't study stats in school. Though you'd think maybe they should have. I can blame this on the schools too, right? If you're going to go through a journalism program, you should take a basic stats course. That should be a part of the program. I'm sorry. I don't know how you can argue with me. You're going to tell me that a journalist shouldn't have a basic stats education? Of course they should. And if you can't figure out how to do basic statistics, you're not smart enough to be writing in a newspaper. I'm sorry. Maybe you can work as an editor. But if you're going to be writing papers, like if you're writing columns, you'd better be smart enough to understand some basic numbers. Otherwise, your opinion is not very valuable. So first of all, let's get the media organizations to put people through these courses, because a lot of these people, they're celebrities. They don't even have journalism backgrounds, okay? But also, let's get the schools to put journalists. I'm not saying that you need to have a math degree or even a minor. If you take a psychology, program or an economics there's a lot of math in economics, but if you take a psychology course and you graduate with a psychology degree, you take like a half credit per year in statistical methods, if that. You might be done after second year. Is that too much to ask of journalists who probably have 10 credits in breadth requirements? It's not. Make them take a credit or two worth of stats courses. And yes, that means that they'd have to pass grade 12 math. God forbid. That said, I've been clear for a while now that the polls we've been getting have been manipulated to manufacture a race. You should not be surprised that Clinton is pulling so far ahead. She was always very far ahead. The polls have been very stable. It's not the polling you're seeing now that's suspect. It's the polling you saw a few weeks ago that was. Okay? So you saw the race tighten and then you're surprised that it opened up. It never tightened, so it didn't open up. It was always, big distance. She was up 5-6 points the whole time. There were just a lot of really bad polls published to fuck with your heads and make you think there was a race, and there wasn't. So don't be surprised that she's far ahead. Realize that you got tricked into thinking it was close in the first place. Do I really think she'd win by 11 points if there were an election today? It's not crazy, okay? 11 is a little, it's on the high end. Okay, sure. I was saying 3-7, and I said 3-7 for weeks, months. I think maybe that's inched up a little bit. Okay, it's not 3-7 anymore. Now it's 5-9. It's 6-10. And you're gonna throw polls at me, and I'm gonna throw them in the trash. Okay? There's good polling and there's bad polling. I don't want to read aggregates. I don't want to average out good and bad. When you average good with bad, you get mediocre. What's the point of that? So my reading of the polls was previously, around 5, a bit higher. It's starting to look more like 5 is the bare minimum. If you've got a poll where she's coming in less than 5, you want to be iffy about that poll. The, good polls are they're unanimous. She's more than 5 points ahead. 7 points ahead. 8 points ahead. Even the 538 aggregate. And I don't like aggregates because, like I say, when you take good data and you average it with bad data, you get mediocre data. Maybe we could talk about aggregates if we remove the bad data. And I know that the 538 is at least, he at least weights them, right? And that's better, but it's still, I don't see anything wrong with discriminating about the data you're using and saying this sucks, I'm not using it. Even he's got her up by 7. And that's with bad data being used. She's winning by a substantial margin. And I'm sorry if you let sensationalist media convince you otherwise.